Admiral stood on the observation deck of Harmony's Reach, watching the stars beyond the transparent steel. 50 years. That's how long humans had been part of the Galactic Coalition. 50 years of peace, progress, and partnership with alien civilizations that humanity once thought existed only in dreams. He remembered the stories his grandmother told him. She was alive when they made first contact. Their crystalline ships appeared over Earth's major cities, broadcasting messages of friendship in every human language. Within months, humanity joined the coalition, 12 advanced species working together for mutual prosperity. Or so they said. "Admiral, the morning briefing is ready," Captain Jin Park said, approaching from behind. She commanded the UEDS Sentinel, Earth's flagship cruiser. It was a beautiful ship, built with coalition technology and human determination. "Thank you, Captain. I'll be there shortly," replied, not turning from the window. Jin stood beside him, following his gaze into the darkness. "Something bothering you, sir?" "Just thinking, we've given them so much. Resources, food, soldiers. What have we really gotten in return?" "Technology, protection. A place among the stars," Jin said, but her voice lacked conviction. Finally looked at her. "Technology we're not allowed to fully understand. Protection from threats we never see. And a place where we're always the youngest, the weakest, the ones everyone pats on the head like children." Jin said nothing. She felt it too. Every human in the Coalition Defense Force felt it. They were tolerated, not respected. Across the station, Ambassador Wan Li prepared for another council session. She sorted through data files in her quarters, cross-referencing reports from Earth's colonies. Something didn't add up. Trade numbers were inconsistent. Ship movements didn't match official records. And whenever she asked questions, her alien colleagues smiled their various smiles and assured her everything was fine. Her assistant, a young man named Min, knocked and entered. "Ambassador, the council session begins in 1 hour." "Min, look at these numbers," one said, turning her screen toward him. "Colony shipments to the territories. We sent 3,000 tons of refined metals last month, but their import records show only 1,000 tons received." "Perhaps a clerical error," Min suggested. For the third month in a row, the same discrepancy pattern across 5 different colonies. Min leaned closer, studying the data. His background was in mathematics before he joined the diplomatic corps. "You're right. This is statistically impossible as random error. Someone is either taking resources or falsifying records." One rubbed her temples. "I'll bring it up in the session today. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation." But she knew there wouldn't be. Deep within the station's military sector, Commander Sang-ho reviewed classified reports from Earth's deep space listening posts. His Special Operations Division monitored everything: coalition transmissions, alien ship movements, anything that might threaten humanity's interests. What he found made his blood cold. 3 listening posts had detected unusual signal patterns along the coalition's outer borders. Heavy encryption, military grade. But when he reported this to coalition security, they confiscated everything. His entire month of data gone. The official explanation: classified coalition defense operations, nothing for humans to worry about. Sang-ho didn't buy it. He'd made copies, of course, hidden in places coalition security would never think to look. The patterns were clear to anyone with military intelligence training. Someone was coming, something big, and the coalition was preparing for it without telling Earth. He sent an encrypted message to Admiral: "We need to talk, privately, soon." The council session proceeded as it always did. The representative, a towering reptilian creature named Tar, spoke about resource allocation. The representative, whose name humans couldn't properly pronounce, discussed scientific exchanges. The delegate, speaking through a water-filled translation sphere, reported on agricultural developments. Ambassador One waited for her turn. When called upon, she spoke clearly. Honorable Council members, I wish to address inconsistencies in trade records between Earth colonies and territories. The room fell silent. Tar's eyes narrowed. Inconsistencies. One presented her data on the central display. Numbers, charts, timeline comparisons. Undeniable evidence of something wrong. Tar studied the information for a long moment. Then he smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Ambassador Lee, these are simply conversion errors. Your human measurement systems differ from ours. When properly converted, everything matches perfectly. But I used coalition standard measurements, which your people often misunderstand, the representative interrupted, their crystalline voice harmonizing in frequencies that made one's head ache. We appreciate your diligence, Ambassador, but this matter is resolved. Let us move on. One wanted to argue, but 11 alien species stared at her with expressions ranging from amusement to irritation. She sat down, defeated but not convinced. After the session, Admiral met with Commander Sang-ho in a secure room, the kind of room that blocked all signals, coalition technology included. Sang-ho spread his smuggled data across the table. Sir, someone is coming, a fleet, maybe an empire. The coalition knows about it and they're mobilizing. Without informing Earth. Without even acknowledging the threat exists. Studied the signal patterns. His decades of military experience recognized the signatures. Invasion forces, large ones. Where are they heading? That's the problem, sir. Based on trajectory analysis, they're heading toward human-settled space, not coalition core worlds, ours. The two men looked at each other, understanding passing between them without words. Send a message to Earth, said quietly. Use the old military codes, the ones from before we joined the coalition. Tell them to activate Protocol Midnight. Sir, that protocol hasn't been used in decades. Most people think it doesn't even exist anymore. It exists, and if I'm right about what's coming, we're going to need it. That night, Captain Jin received unusual orders. Maintain full readiness. Keep the Sentinel's crew on rotating high-alert shifts. Prepare for immediate departure. No explanation given. She walked through her ship's corridors watching her crew work. Good people. Dedicated. They believed in the coalition, in the dream of galactic unity. Should she tell them her suspicions, that something was terribly wrong? Not yet, not until she knew for sure. In her ready room, she pulled up restricted files, information about the Sentinel systems, coalition technology integration. She'd always wondered why certain systems were locked away from human engineers. For your protection, they said, too dangerous for humans to modify. But what if it wasn't protection? What if it was control? Her computer beeped, an incoming message heavily encrypted from Admiral. She read it twice, her hands shaking. Captain Park, trust no one from the coalition. Something is coming. When the time comes, I'll need you to follow orders that might seem like treason, but they'll be the most loyal thing you ever do for humanity. Stand ready. Jin deleted the message and stood, looking out her viewport at the stars. 50 years of alliance, 50 years of trust. And now, the terrible feeling that it had all been a lie. The alarm screamed through Harmony's reach at 400 hours. Admiral was already awake, as if his body knew something terrible was coming. He reached the command center in 3 minutes, still pulling on his uniform jacket. Report, he barked. 3 coalition worlds just went dark, sir, the duty officer stammered. Prime, 7, and Station. No signals, nothing. What do you mean, dark? I mean they're gone, Admiral. Last transmission showed massive fleet attacks, then silence. The main display flickered to life, showing coalition high command. The military leader van appeared panicked, something had never seen before. All coalition forces to battle stations. We are under attack by the Empire. This is not a drill. Captain Jin's voice crackled over his personal comm. Admiral, The Sentinel is ready for immediate deployment. Stand by, Captain. Wait for my order. The next 6 hours were chaos. Coalition fleets mobilized across the galaxy. Reports came in of warships, massive, brutal things that ripped through Coalition defenses like they were paper. This vaunted battle fleet lasted 18 minutes. This energy shields, thought to be impenetrable, failed against weapons. In her quarters, Lieutenant Song worked frantically at her intelligence terminal. Her job was monitoring Coalition military communications, looking for patterns, threats, anything that might endanger human forces. What she found instead made her stomach turn. An encrypted channel between Coalition High Command and several species leaders. She shouldn't have been able to access it, but a coding error, probably made in the panic, left it briefly exposed. Was a talented intelligence officer. She got in everything and got out before the security protocols could lock her out. She read the files once, then again, not believing what she saw. Then she ran. Ambassador 1 was in an emergency council session when burst through the doors, 2 Coalition security guards chasing her. Ambassador shouted, "Don't sign anything, don't agree to anything." The guards grabbed, but not before she threw a data chip across the room. It slid perfectly to one's feet. "Remove that human," Tar hissed. "She has accessed classified information." One picked up the chip slowly, her diplomatic instincts screaming warnings. "What classified information? We're allies. What secrets do you keep from us?" The room went silent. 11 alien species exchanged looks. "Ambassador Lee," the representative said carefully, "there are matters of Coalition security that require discretion. Show me the chip, or I'm leaving this council and taking Earth's support with me." It was a bluff. Earth was in no position to leave, but one's anger made it convincing. The delegate spoke through bubbling water. "Perhaps the ambassador should see. She will learn soon enough anyway." One inserted the chip into her personal pad. Her face went pale as she read, then red with fury. "You made a deal with them," she whispered. You're surrendering." "Negotiating peace," Tar corrected. "By giving them 12 star systems, 12 systems, all of them human colonies." One's voice rose to a shout. "You're sacrificing us, 37 human worlds, billions of people just to save yourselves." "It is regrettable," the representative said, their voice devoid of emotion, "but necessary. The want living space, resources, and slaves. We can provide those from human territories. In exchange, they will leave Coalition core worlds untouched." One stood, shaking with rage. "We trusted you. For 50 years we trusted you." "And you were useful," Tar said coldly. "Your species breeds quickly, works hard, and asks few questions. You provided resources and soldiers when we needed them. Now you provide something else, a sacrifice that saves trillions of Coalition lives." This was always the plan, one realized. From the beginning, we were never partners, we were cattle. "Livestock is such an ugly term," they said. "Think of it as fulfilling your purpose in the galactic order." "Did you know about the before they attacked?" one demanded. "Silence. Answer me." "We've known for 3 years," they admitted. "We've been negotiating the terms of surrender for 18 months. The attack today was theater, to make our surrender look forced rather than planned." One felt like she'd been hit. "The technology you gave us, the restrictions on our research, the weapons we weren't allowed to develop. We couldn't have you becoming too strong," Tar said. "That would complicate matters when the time came to offer you up." Coalition security moved toward one. She backed away, speaking quickly into her comm unit. "Admiral Ambassador Lee, Protocol Midnight. I repeat, Protocol Midnight. They've." A energy pulse hit her, and everything went black. Admiral heard every word before the transmission cut off. Around him, the command center erupted in confusion. Human officers looked to him for orders. Coalition officers moved to their own stations, clearly receiving separate instructions. "Sir, we're receiving shutdown codes," his communications officer reported. "Coalition Command is sending override signals to all human ships." "Block them." "I can't, sir. The codes are embedded in our systems. It's Coalition technology they built in." Across the fleet, human ships began powering down. Engines went offline. Weapons systems locked. Life support remained active. The Coalition wasn't trying to kill them, just disable them. All except the Sentinel. Captain Jin had been running diagnostics on her ship's systems for weeks, ever since the Admiral's warning. She'd found the and quietly disabled them, making it look like normal system updates. "Admiral, the Sentinel is still operational," she reported. "What are your orders?" Looked around the command center. Coalition officers were trying to seize control. Human crew members resisted, but they were outnumbered and... "Captain Park, get out of here. Break orbit and run." "Sir, I can't leave you." "That's an order. Get to Earth. Tell them what happened. Tell them." He stopped as a soldier grabbed him. "Tell them we're already dead. Tell them not to let it be for nothing." Jin closed her eyes briefly, then opened them with cold determination. "Understood, Admiral. Sentinel breaking orbit now." Her ship's engines flared to life. Coalition ships tried to intercept, but the Sentinel was fast and Jin was the best pilot in the fleet. She dodged, weaved, and burned hard for the outer system. "Ma'am, they're not pursuing," her tactical officer reported, confused. "Because they don't need to," Jin said bitterly. "We're not a threat. We're just messengers carrying news of our own extinction." Back on Harmony's Reach, Admiral was dragged to a detention cell. Commander Sang-ho was already there, bleeding from a head wound. A dozen other human officers filled the small space. "They got you too," Sang-ho said. "They got all of us," sat heavily. "How long have you known?" "About the betrayal, I suspected for months. About the specific plan, figured it out a few hours ago. That girl is a hero. If we survive, I'll make sure she gets every medal we have." Leaned against the cold wall. "Did you manage to send the message to Earth?" Protocol Midnight was activated before they grabbed me. Every human military installation, colony, and ship just received the code. "Then there's still hope." "Is there, sir? They've disabled our fleet. They know where every human world is. They are coming with the Coalition's blessing. What hope do we have?" Smiled, though his eyes were hard. "You know what Protocol Midnight means, Sang-ho?" "I've heard rumors, never confirmed." "It means we stop pretending. It means we show them what humanity really is when you corner us." He looked at the other imprisoned officers. "The Coalition thinks they know us. They think we're weak, young, naive. They're about to learn a very important lesson about humans." "What lesson?" "That we didn't survive 10,000 years of evolution by being prey. We survived by being the deadliest hunters on our planet. And when you try to make hunters into victims," smile turned cold, "they remember what they really are." 3 kilometers beneath the mountains of the Korean peninsula, Apex Command received Admiral's final transmission. Fleet Admiral stood in the center of the command room, watching the message play for the third time on the massive main screen. "Protocol Midnight, they've betrayed us." Around her, 200 officers worked at their stations. Not one of them panicked. They'd trained for this moment for 40 years, hoped it would never come, prepared for it anyway. "Confirm the signal authenticity," ordered. "Voice print matches Admiral, sir. Military encryption codes. Signal originated from Harmony's Reach before Coalition jamming began. Status of our orbital observation network. All satellites confirm Coalition fleet movements consistent with hostile takeover. Human ships are being disabled across the galaxy. Multiple reports of human personnel being detained." General Moon approached from the strategic planning section. He was a weathered man who'd spent 30 years building Earth's secret defenses. "Admiral, we're ready. All Ghost Division assets are in position. Project Revelation is fully operational. We're just waiting for your order." Nodded slowly. Behind her calm expression, fury burned. They'd trusted the Coalition, worked with them, died for them, and this was how it ended. Open channels to all Apex facilities worldwide. Priority Alpha. The room quieted. Every screen showed the same thing's face, transmitted to every hidden base, every covert installation, every secret project that Earth had built over 4 decades. "This is Fleet Admiral. Protocol Midnight is now active. The Coalition has betrayed humanity. They plan to surrender us to an invading empire called the Earth, and all our colonies are to be sacrificed." She paused, letting that sink in. "We knew this might happen. We prepared. Now it's time to show them what we really are." In a bunker beneath the Australian outback, Colonel Jinwoo Bei stood before his Eclipse Regiment, 3,000 soldiers who'd trained for war in complete secrecy. Each one was enhanced, augmented, made into something more than human through technology the Coalition never knew existed. "Sir, are we really doing this?" his second-in-command asked. "We're doing this," Jinwoo replied, watching the Admiral's transmission. "Gear up. We deploy in 30 minutes." In a hidden asteroid facility beyond Mars, Captain Dongryu walked through the hangar bay of his ship. The UEDS Phantom gleamed under the worklights, a warship built entirely in secret using technology reverse-engineered and improved from Coalition designs. It was one of 400 such ships that the Coalition had no idea existed. "Captain, we just received Protocol Midnight," his executive officer reported. "I heard, is the crew ready?" "We've been ready for 20 years, sir." "Then let's make it count." Back in Apex Command, Dr. Nushin entered the command center. She looked tired. Leading Project Revelation for 15 years would do that to anyone, but her eyes were bright with determination. "Admiral, Project Revelation is online. All systems are functioning at optimal capacity." "Give me a summary, Doctor. Pretend I'm not a scientist." Nuss smiled slightly. "We've done what the Coalition said was impossible. Ghost drive technology, faster-than-light travel that leaves no detectable signature, neural warfare systems that can infiltrate any computer network, antimatter cascade weapons that make their best weapons look like firecrackers, self-replicating combat drones that can overwhelm any defense, and biological enhancements that make our soldiers faster, stronger, and smarter than any Coalition species. How did we do all this without them noticing? We let them think we were stupid. Every time they gave us technology, we acted grateful and confused. We asked basic questions, made rookie mistakes. They thought we couldn't understand their science." Nuss' smile widened. "But we understood everything. We just played dumb while we improved on their designs." General brought up a holographic display of the galaxy. Red dots marked human colonies. Blue dots marked Coalition worlds. Yellow dots showed fleet positions based on the latest intelligence. "Here's the situation," he said. 37 human colonies are targeted for surrender. The fleet is 3 days away from the nearest colony. Coalition forces are withdrawing, leaving our people defenseless, or so they think. "What's our actual strength?" asked. 400 Ghost Division warships, fully crewed and armed. 50,000 Eclipse Regiment Special Forces, 23 hidden military bases across human colonies, advanced AI support systems, and one very angry human species that's tired of being underestimated. The War Council convened via quantum link. Representatives from every nation appeared on screens around the command center. Saw faces from every continent, every culture, all of them angry, all of them ready. The President of the United Earth Council spoke first. "Admiral, you have our full support. The Coalition tried to make us victims. Show them we're warriors." "I need to be clear about what we're doing," said. "This is war. Not just against but against the Coalition. They've held us back for 50 years, restricted our research, limited our military. Also, we'd be weak when they needed someone to sacrifice. What are you proposing? Total war. We free our people from coalition control, we destroy the fleet, and we make the coalition answer for their crimes. That's 12 alien species against humanity. Correct, are we proceeding? The vote was unanimous, 43 nations speaking as one voice. Yes. Took a deep breath. This was it, the moment that would define humanity's future. Either they'd rise to become a galactic power, or they'd be extinct by next week. General Moon, activate all Ghost Division assets. Colonel Bay, deploy the Eclipse Regiment. Dr. Shin, bring Project Revelation to full operational status. Orders flew across the command center. Across Earth, enormous doors opened in mountains and deserts. Ships that had been hidden for decades powered up their engines. Soldiers who'd trained in secret moved to deployment positions. Weapons that the coalition thought impossible came online. Admiral, we're ready, General reported. All forces await your command. Thought about Admiral, imprisoned somewhere in space. About Ambassador 1, detained by the people she'd trusted. About every human who'd believed in the coalition's promises of friendship and protection. About her own daughter, living on a colony world that would be handed over to slavers if this failed. She opened a channel to every human military force in the galaxy. Every ship, every base, every soldier. Her voice would reach them all simultaneously through the quantum communication network the coalition didn't know existed. This is Fleet Admiral, Supreme Commander of Earth's United Defense Forces. For 50 years we've been patient, we've been peaceful, we've been partners. The coalition mistook our patience for weakness. They mistook our peace for cowardice. They thought they could betray us without consequences. She paused, looking at the faces around her command center. Good people, dedicated people, people who'd kept secrets for decades, waiting for this moment. They were wrong. Today, humanity stops pretending. Today, we show the galaxy what we really are. Today, they learn that humans don't go quietly into extinction. We fight, we survive, we win. Her hand hovered over the activation control. One button, one word. That's all it would take to begin the war. To all human forces, all ships, all soldiers, all colonies, I give you one command, one word that changes everything. She pressed the button. Unleash. Across the galaxy, humanity answered. 400 Ghost Division ships dropped their stealth fields simultaneously, appearing on coalition sensors like vengeful ghosts. The Eclipse Regiment launched from hidden bases, their enhanced soldiers ready for war. On every human colony, hidden weapons came online. Defense systems that weren't supposed to exist activated. Shields that the coalition never approved powered up. And in Apex Command, Fleet Admiral watched the board light up with friendly forces. Humanity's true military might, revealed at last. General stood beside her. Admiral, the coalition is about to receive a message. What message? That humanity just became the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Allowed herself a cold smile. Good. Let them learn what happens when you try to sacrifice Earth. Let them all learn. The coalition blockade around Earth consisted of 42 warships from 6 different species. They surrounded the planet in a standard containment formation, confident that humanity was trapped and helpless. Their sensors showed no threats. Earth's known military was disabled. Everything was proceeding according to plan. Then the ghosts arrived. Captain Dongryu brought the UEDS Phantom out of stealth mode directly behind a battlecruiser. At this range, sensors didn't matter. The Phantom's antimatter cascade cannons fired, and the ship simply ceased to exist, torn apart at the molecular level. Target destroyed, his weapons officer reported calmly, moving to next target. Across Earth's orbit, 400 Ghost Division ships appeared simultaneously. They materialized from nowhere, their ghost drives leaving no warning, no signature, nothing that Coalition sensors could detect. Each ship targeted a blockade vessel. Each ship fired. The Battle of Earth lasted 17 minutes. Coalition crews barely had time to raise shields before human weapons tore through them. Antimatter cascades, neural disruptors, quantum torpedoes, technology the Coalition thought humanity incapable of developing. Ships that had blockaded Earth minutes ago became debris clouds, their crews never understanding what hit them. Blockade eliminated, Captain Dong reported to Apex Command. Earth orbit is secure, no Coalition survivors. Acknowledged, Phantom, Fleet Admiral responded. Proceed to Phase 2, free our people at Harmony's reach. While the Ghost Division secured Earth, Captain Jin Park brought the Sentinel back from its desperate flight. Her ship had been running for hours, expecting pursuit that never came. Now she understood why. The Coalition hadn't bothered chasing her because they thought one ship didn't matter. They were about to learn otherwise. "Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission," her communications officer said. "It's Admiral." "Put him through." The Admiral's face appeared, tired but grinning. "Captain Park, good to see you're still flying." "Sir, are you all right?" we thought. "I'm fine, better than fine. The Eclipse Regiment just broke us out of detention. You should see this place, Jin. It's chaos. Coalition forces don't know what hit them." Colonel Jinwoo Bei appeared behind the Admiral, his combat armor still smoking from weapons fire. "Captain, we could use your ship. We've secured Admiral and 40 other human prisoners, but Coalition reinforcements are coming." "Already on approach, Colonel. Sentinel will be there in 15 minutes. Can you hold?" "We can hold for days," Jinwoo said, smiling behind his helmet visor. "These Coalition soldiers aren't ready for what we've become." He wasn't exaggerating. The Eclipse Regiment had spent 30 years training and enhancing themselves for exactly this kind of mission. Each soldier was faster, stronger, and smarter than baseline humans. Their armor incorporated technology reverse-engineered from every Coalition species: strength, energy shields, environmental adaptation. They were the perfect soldiers, and Coalition forces couldn't stop them. Major Meehan led her Neural Strike team through Harmony's Reach's computer core. Their mission was simple: take everything. Every file, every secret, every piece of intelligence the Coalition had accumulated over centuries. "Neural interface established," she reported, connecting her enhanced nervous system directly to the Coalition mainframe. "Beginning data extraction." Information flooded into her mind. She filtered through it rapidly, her augmented brain processing terabytes per second. What she found made her gasp. "Colonel Bay, you need to see this." "What is it, Major?" "They've done this before. 3 times. 3 other species were inducted into the Coalition over the past 6 centuries. All 3 were eventually sacrificed to external threats. The Coalition finds young species, uses them for resources and labor, then trades them away when convenient." Jinwoo's voice was cold. "Get everything, every detail, every name, every species involved. We're going to make sure the galaxy knows what the Coalition really is." "Already copying. Sir, there's more. The Coalition has been suppressing human technological development since day one. We could have developed ghost drives ourselves 30 years ago, but every time human scientists got close, Coalition advisors redirected our research. They were terrified of what we might become if we reached our full potential." Well, they're about to find out. Across the galaxy, human colonies erupted in coordinated uprisings. Colonists who'd seemed peaceful and cooperative suddenly revealed hidden weapons. Coalition garrison forces found themselves facing organized resistance backed by military-grade equipment. On New Sol, a human colony planet with 2 million inhabitants, Coalition overseers tried to maintain control. They failed. Within an hour, every Coalition facility was captured. Within 2 hours, hidden defense platforms activated, and Coalition ships in orbit were destroyed. The pattern repeated across 37 colonies. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this exact scenario. Each colony had hidden weapons caches, secret training programs, and volunteers ready to fight. The coalition had never suspected because they'd never bothered to look. Why would they? Humans were weak, young, easily controlled. The fleet responded first. They sent 3 battle groups, 60 warships total, to reclaim human colonies. It was massive overkill for what they expected to be poorly armed civilians. They never made it to the colonies. Captain Dong's Ghost Division ambushed them in deep space. The human ships used their ghost drives to position themselves perfectly, above, below, and around the fleet. When they opened fire, the battle was one-sided. Command ship destroyed, the tactical officer reported. Remaining vessels are breaking formation. They're trying to retreat. Don't let them, Dong ordered. No survivors, no witnesses. Let the coalition wonder what happened. Within 30 minutes, 60 warships were debris. Not one human ship was damaged. The tried next. Their crystalline vessels were fast and their energy shields were legendary. They sent 4 carrier groups to investigate the fleet's disappearance. Major Mee's neural strike team was waiting. Using technology that the coalition never imagined humanity possessed, they hacked directly into ship systems. The crystalline beings relied heavily on networked computers, and that was their weakness. Neural infiltration successful, Mee reported, taking control of vessels. On her screens, she watched as ships turned on each other. Their own weapons systems, hijacked by human neural warfare, fired on sister ships. The crews couldn't override the commands. The human systems worked faster than their crystalline minds could process. 4 carriers destroyed by friendly fire, she said. The remaining ships are withdrawing. They're terrified. Good, Fleet Admiral said from Apex Command. Let them be terrified. Let them all be terrified. They tried a different approach. Their underwater cities made them hard to attack, so they hunkered down and fortified. They thought they were safe. They weren't. Human forces blockaded worlds, cutting them off completely. No ships in, no ships out, no supplies, no communication. The aquatic species found themselves isolated, watching as humanity dismantled the coalition piece by piece. As battles raged across the galaxy, intelligence reports revealed something unexpected. The invasion fleet had stopped. Their massive warships, which had been advancing toward human colonies, suddenly halted and went into defensive formation. They're scared, General analyzed. They came here expecting easy conquest. Coalition forces retreating, humans helpless. Instead, they see humans destroying coalition fleets. They're reconsidering their invasion plans. Open a channel to the fleet, ordered. Admiral, are you sure? Open the channel. A commander appeared on screen, a massive armored being that looked like it was born for war. Its voice was harsh, translated through multiple systems. Humans, we were told you were weak. You were told wrong. Your options are simple. Turn around and leave, or we'll destroy you like we're destroying the coalition. The commander studied her for a long moment. The coalition offered us 12 of your systems. The coalition doesn't own those systems. We do, and we don't share. You would fight us. We're already fighting 12 alien species. What's one more? Another long pause. Then they made a sound that might have been laughter. Your species is interesting. We came for conquest. We find worthy opponents instead. We will withdraw. But humans know this. You have made an enemy of the coalition. They will not forgive this. We're counting on it. The fleet turned and began the long journey back to their empire. Humanity had won without firing a single shot at them. Back on Harmony's reach, Admiral stood in what used to be the Coalition Council chamber. Bodies of Coalition guards littered the floor. Colonel Jinwoo's forces had secured the entire station. Sir, Captain Park is here, Commander Sang-ho reported. Jin entered, followed by her crew. She saluted. "Reporting for duty, Admiral. Sorry we're late." Pulled her into a brief hug. "You're right on time, Captain. We're about to send a message to the Coalition." "What message?" "That humanity doesn't forgive betrayal, that we don't forget, and that they chose the wrong species to sacrifice." He turned to the communication station, now controlled by human forces. "Open a broadcast, galaxy-wide. I want every species, every planet, every ship to hear this." When the channel opened, spoke clearly. "This is Admiral of Earth's United Defense Forces. The Coalition attempted to betray humanity. They planned to surrender us to invaders. They thought we were weak. They were wrong. We have destroyed their blockades. We have freed our colonies. We have driven off and we're just getting started. To the Coalition, surrender now or learn what happens when you make an enemy of humanity." He ended the transmission and looked at his officers. "How long until the Coalition responds?" "They already have, sir," Sang-Ho said, pulling up new data. 3 Coalition species just requested immediate peace talks. 5 others are withdrawing their forces. The rest are in chaos. Smiled. "Then let's show them what comes next." 6 months after the word "unleash" echoed across the galaxy, Fleet Admiral stood before the newly formed Galactic Assembly. The old Coalition Council chamber had been demolished. This new building was different, designed with input from 20 species, not just 12. And at its center, humanity held a permanent seat with veto power. The ambassador approached first. Tar, the same one who had smiled while explaining humanity's planned sacrifice, now walked with his head lowered in submission. "Admiral, on behalf of the people, we formally surrender. We accept all terms of the Soul Accords." Studied him coldly. "Do you understand what you did to us?" "Yes, we betrayed your trust. We treated you as expendable. We were wrong." "You were worse than wrong. You were calculating. You planned this for years." She gestured to the data displays around the chamber. "We know everything now. Major Mee's team extracted your entire database. Every secret, every plan, every previous species you sacrificed." The chamber fell silent. Representatives from 19 species watched, some with shame, some with fear, all with respect. Ambassador Haewon Yang, Earth's new representative, stepped forward. She had replaced Won Lee, who was recovering from her injuries but had chosen to retire from diplomatic service. Haewon was younger, but her eyes were hard from months of war. She said, reading from a data pad, "Inducted into the Coalition 230 years ago, used for labor and resources for 70 years, then sacrificed to the swarm when negotiations required a buffer zone. Extinct." A hologram appeared, images of They looked like tall, graceful beings with 4 arms and gentle features. The Haewon continued. "Inducted 350 years ago, excellent engineers, built many Coalition ships. When the Empire threatened Coalition territory, the worlds were offered as tribute. Extinct." More holograms. They resembled crystalline insects, beautiful and delicate. The inducted 490 years ago, gifted scientists, made breakthroughs in medicine and physics. When the Coalition faced economic collapse, worlds were sold to the highest bidder. Extinct. There had been aquatic mammals, their images showing intelligence and curiosity in their large eyes. 3 species, Haewon said, her voice echoing in the chamber. 3 civilizations, billions of lives, all sacrificed because you found it convenient, and you tried to make us number 4. The representative spoke, their crystalline voice subdued. "We thought it was necessary, for the greater good." "The greater good," Admiral stepped forward, his uniform bearing new medals from Earth's rapid victories. "Is that what you tell yourselves? That murder is acceptable if it saves your own people?" "What would you have us do?" the delegate asked from their water sphere. The threats were real. The swarm, the empire, the invasion, all real dangers. "You fight," Captain Jin said from her position beside the admiral. You don't sacrifice others to save yourselves. You stand and fight. Easy to say when you've never faced extinction. We faced extinction 6 months ago, Colonel Jinwoo interjected. You planned our extinction. We chose to fight instead of accepting it. That's the difference between warriors and cowards. The chamber erupted in angry voices. Coalition species protesting, human officers responding. Fleet Admiral let it continue for a moment, then raised her hand. Silence fell immediately. The Soul Accords, she said clearly. Every species here will sign them. They're non-negotiable. The terms appeared on every screen. Article 1. No species may be sacrificed, traded, or used as tribute under any circumstances. Article 2. All species have equal rights to self-defense and military development. Article 3. Technology sharing must be genuine and complete. No restrictions, no control systems. Article 4. Young species receive protection, not exploitation. Article 5. Humanity serves as guarantor of these terms, with authority to enforce them by any means necessary. Article 6. War trials will be held for those who participated in previous betrayals. These terms are harsh, Tar said. They're merciful, replied. My original proposal was to dismantle the coalition entirely and let humanity govern the galaxy. This gives you a chance to govern yourselves. Don't waste it. Over the following weeks, all coalition species signed. They had no choice. Human military power was undeniable. The Ghost Division patrolled space lanes, enforcing the peace. The Eclipse Regiment stood ready to deploy at a moment's notice. And Earth's weapons, those terrible weapons that had destroyed coalition fleets so easily, remained pointed at the stars, a permanent reminder of what humanity could do. Ambassador Won Lee watched the proceedings from Earth, recovering in a hospital overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Dr. Min visited daily, bringing reports and sometimes just sitting in silence with her. Do you regret it? She asked him one afternoon, trusting them. I regret that they weren't worthy of our trust, Min replied. But I don't regret trying. Hope isn't weakness, Ambassador. It's what makes us human. I'm not an ambassador anymore. You'll always be Ambassador Lee to me. You stood up to them. You tried to save us even when they arrested you. That's what matters. One smiled slightly. I hear they're building a monument to the 3 extinct species. Yes, in Geneva, a reminder of what we're fighting to prevent. The monument was unveiled 3 months later, 3 massive structures, one for each lost species. The and the would be remembered, their stories told, their sacrifice acknowledged, and beneath the monument an inscription. Never again, not to any species, not on our watch. Lieutenant Song attended the ceremony, still amazed that she'd survived. She was the one who'd discovered the betrayal, the one who'd run through armed guards to warn Ambassador Lee. Now she wore medals and gave speeches to young cadets about courage and duty. Do you think they'll try again? A cadet asked her after one speech. The coalition. They might. Aliens make the same mistakes humans do. They get greedy. They get scared. They forget lessons. Looked at the Ghost Division ships passing overhead. But now we're ready. Now we don't trust blindly. And now we're strong enough to protect not just ourselves but others too. Dr. Nushin continued her work on Project Revelation, but now with a different goal. Instead of preparing for war, she focused on advancement, making humanity faster, smarter, stronger, not to dominate others but to ensure no one could dominate them. How much further can we go? General asked, visiting her laboratory. There's no limit, Na said, studying genetic sequences on her screens. That's what scared the coalition, not what we are but what we could become. We adapt faster than any species they'd ever met. We improve. We evolve. Give us 1,000 years and we'll make what we are now look primitive. That's a terrifying thought. Only if we become what the coalition was. If we use our power to exploit rather than protect, then we'll be the monsters. She looked at him seriously. That's why the Soul Accords matter. They're not just rules for the Coalition. They're rules for us too. Limits we place on ourselves so we don't become the next threat. The sent ambassadors 6 months after their withdrawal. They arrived in massive warships, but their message was peaceful. Their empire had watched humanity's rise with interest. We came seeking conquest, their ambassador said. We found something more valuable, trade partners, allies perhaps. Fleet Admiral met them personally, aboard the UEDS Sentinel. Captain Jin commanded the meeting from her bridge, weapons ready but not targeted. Why should we trust you? Asked. Because we respect strength. The coalition was weak, corrupt, dying. You are strong, principled, growing. The Empire values such qualities. And if we refuse your friendship, then we remain neutral, but we hope you'll accept the galaxy is large. There are threats beyond what either of us has faced. Together we might stand apart. The shrugged. Who knows? Considered, trade relations only, for now. Prove yourselves trustworthy and we'll discuss more. Acceptable. 1 year after Unleash, Admiral stood on Harmony's Reach, renamed Hope Station by human crews. The station had been rebuilt, expanded, and now served as humanity's main military headquarters beyond Earth. Commander Sang-ho joined him at the observation deck. Strange, isn't it? A year ago we were prisoners here. And now we command it. Does it feel like victory? Thought about that, about the war, about the cost. Thousands of human lives lost in the fighting, but millions saved. It feels like survival. Victory would be if none of this had been necessary. Think we'll get another chance. At peace, I mean, real peace. Maybe. The galaxy knows humanity now. They know we can be trusted. They also know we can't be betrayed without consequences. That's a foundation to build on. In the Galactic Assembly, now housed on a neutral station built by multiple species, Ambassador Haewon addressed the gathered representatives. Behind her stood Admiral, Captain Jin, and Colonel Jinwoo, a reminder of humanity's military power backing diplomatic words. We stand at a crossroads, she said. The old coalition is gone. What replaces it is up to all of us. Humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We just want to live in it safely. But we will enforce the Soul Accords. We will protect vulnerable species. And we will never allow another species to be sacrificed for political convenience. She paused, looking at each representative. You thought we were sheep, easy to control, easy to sacrifice. You forgot that on Earth, sheep don't survive. Predators survive. We survived 10,000 years of evolution by being the deadliest species on our planet. We climbed to the top of our food chain through intelligence, adaptation, and absolute refusal to be prey. Is that a threat? A representative asked nervously. It's a fact, but here's another fact. Predators can choose not to hunt. We can choose cooperation over domination. We can choose to protect instead of devour. That's what makes us different from you. You used your power to exploit. We'll use ours to defend. She gestured to the stars visible through the assembly hall's windows. Out there are thousands of species, most weaker than us, some stronger, all deserving of a chance to exist without fear of betrayal. That's the new order we're building, not human supremacy, not coalition corruption, just fairness, justice, and the absolute promise that betrayal will never be tolerated again. The Assembly voted on the new charter. It passed unanimously. No one dared vote against humanity now. On Earth, in the mountains of Korea, Fleet Admiral entered Apex Command for the last time as a war commander. The facility would remain operational, but as a coordination center, not a war room. It's over, General said. We won. We survived, corrected. Winning would have been if they'd never betrayed us. Still, we're safe now, stronger than before, respected. And feared. Is that bad? Looked at the main screen, showing the Ghost Division's 400 ships patrolling the galaxy. Fear keeps enemies away, but it also keeps friends distant. We need to make sure we're using our strength wisely. The soul accords will help. They're a start, but laws only work if people follow them. We'll need to stay vigilant for decades, maybe centuries. Then we will, said simply. That's what humanity does, we endure. The last scene of this chapter in human history occurred in orbit around Earth. The Ghost Fleet maintained formation, their dark ships contrasting with the blue planet below. Children played in parks. Cities bustled with life. And above them, warriors stood watch. Captain Dong Ryu commanded the patrol from his Phantom, the same ship that had fired the first shot of humanity's counterattack. Captain, new cadets are arriving tomorrow, his executive officer reported, fresh from the academy. Let them see what we've built. Let them understand why we fight. To protect Earth. To protect everyone who can't protect themselves. We learned what it's like to be vulnerable, to be betrayed. We'll make sure others don't experience that. The word unleash had changed everything. It became more than an order. It became a legend, a warning, a promise. Across the galaxy, species told stories of humanity's rise, of the young species that refused to die. That turned betrayal into triumph. That showed mercy when they could have chosen vengeance. And in quiet moments, when alien leaders considered taking shortcuts or making cruel decisions, they remembered one word that had shaken the galaxy. Unleash. And they chose differently.